Hey, what's up everybody? I'm going to do a video today showing you how to make some fabrication parts out of some brushed aluminum. So you can see here I got a sheet of aluminum. I've already started this project, but halfway through it I decided maybe I should make a video. May help somebody out there that has seen some of this kind of work at a car show or online or even here on YouTube and seen some of the cars and wondered how these guys did that. A lot of it's actually fairly simple, and you can do it with not a whole lot of tools or very expensive tools. The first thing you're going to need is just a piece of cardboard. Cardboard's cheap, and if you screw it up, no big deal. If you screw up this piece of sheet metal, and it's scrapped, and then you got to start over. It's not exactly expensive, but it's not exactly cheap. So anyhow, it's going to be a piece of regular old cardboard. Nothing fancy. You can use poster board. I've got a bunch of these little squares. And then the next step you're going to do is you'll end up with something like this. It will be your template. You can pick your bends in it and all that. But I'm going to turn the camera over to the vehicle that I'm making these little filler panels for to show you exactly how I got started, and then which led me up to getting the cardboard and forming the template. As you can see here, I went ahead and put some my tape lines out, kind of give me an idea and see how I like where I wanted to have the panel overlap onto the grill shell. And what I'm going to do is I want to fill in this area and have it step up, so it'll just be open just for the around the latch here for the hood for the release. And then I'm going to do some dimple die, and probably 2 or 3 of them on each side. And that's what those templates are for. You can see it's kind of ugly, but there's my first attempt at the template. Like I said, you can keep modifying it until you get your final template out of cardboard. You can make as many as you want, and you just throw them away. It's not a big deal. Versus trying to do it out of metal, this is a lot easier to kind of form and cut and bend. And if you screw up, no big deal, throw it away. You can see it's pretty ugly, but it is effective, and to get this kind of clearance here. So you can slowly trim. I added some tape to it to kind of get more of the bend, not the bend, but the angles that I wanted. Because here it's actually not straight, it kind of goes that way because the grill obviously comes to a point, has a peak here. So anyhow, it's going to go across. It looks like I'm going to do 2 pieces. I think it'll just be better for right here because this area is going to be kind of thin. And flimsy, so what I'm probably gonna do is have an anchor point like under here. With like 2 like a little button head Allen screws or some kind of fastener. And I'll have a plate that runs under there, and it'll attach here and maybe in there too. I'm not sure yet. I'll figure it out when I get to that point. And then down here, probably some little button head screws, same thing. I'm gonna go ahead, and I already did it, but I'm gonna trim out this area on the mounting points. There usually is a little tab that goes all the way over here. But just to get it, I'm going to shave this. I'm going to show you on this corner. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Yeah, see, I shave that little corner there, and then that down. So you got a nice little flat surface, so that your metal panel will go nice and smooth in there, and be nice and tight, so it won't stick up. It'll lay flat with this upper edge. I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, see the upper edge. I want the panel to lay flat all the way up against the actual core support itself, and then I'll just come down and then go around, leave the points open for the hood lock and the latch, and then I'll have a little relief here for the actual release cable that goes into the driver's compartment. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the other side of the template, and I'm going to start bending up some metal. Okay, the tool I used to make my bends, or at least I should say the first bend, which will be this one. If you look at it, this would actually be how it would be mounted on the vehicle. Okay. What you're going to want to do is, obviously, because this is going to go that way, you're not going to want to bend it because this is going to bend towards you. So what you're going to have to do is turn your part around, and you're going to put it under, of course, under the retainer, and then C-clamp that down. We'll get these little guys. And then you'll be able to kind of situate like that underneath this, and then with your clamps on, and then it'll lift it up and it'll bend it that way. Okay, so that's fairly simple. You just got to keep in mind that this actually starts out thinner on that part in this particular vehicle just because of the angle of the grill shell. So you just go ahead and mark on the ends, and then you go ahead and get your straight edge, and then just run it through, and then follow your line there, just like that. Okay. Now, with this particular part, because it's a bend going into another bend like that, to make it easier, which a lot of the guys out there, if you don't have one of these brakes, you can do this for both of them. It's just a little bit harder, not by much, but it is nice to have a brake if you're doing sheet metal work. Anyhow, most people, or most of the guys out there, will have a bench vise in your garage. This one's a pretty old one. And I got some scrap aluminum here, as you can see. And what you might want to do is either on this or your actual sheet metal is put some tape, masking tape, just to help don't put any scratches in it or anything, deep gouges, because aluminum is fairly soft and is easy to put some defects in it. So you can go ahead and do that, and then just put that in there, put your same thing, put your mark, line up where you want it, and then tighten it down, and then just bend it easy, go easy with it, and make sure that you even pressure so you don't have any warps in it. Or you could use a piece of wood and press down on that, something like that. But anyhow, if you're using something that's a little bit thicker aluminum, it's a little harder to bend, you could try heating it up, which is called the annealing process, which will help soften the metal by making the molecules, they'll move around in the metal, so it makes it a lot softer and easier. It'll move around like butter. Just, you can bend it however you want when it's like that. But for this particular project, I'm just using sheet metal, very thin aluminum sheet metal. It's not really any structural. It's more of just a kind of a cosmetic thing. And I always kind of hated that little area around the hood latch being this big wide open gap, so I figured I'll put some, add a little custom styling, this little metal work in that area. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bend up those pieces. The next shot you'll see will be me test fitting the pieces onto the actual truck. All right, as you can see, I got my bends in there. I started to lay out my lines here, a little kind of just all right, the lights kicked on a little more. Good. Finally warming up. Just to kind of see how I want to do my dimple dies in this. I'm going to show you guys how to do that too. And dimple dies are actually, they look really cool. They had a really nice touch to any kind of metal work. Give a nice custom touch, and they're really not that difficult to make. You just have to have the dimple die itself, and you can buy those in various sizes from like 25 bucks, 35 bucks. All the way up into, hundreds, depending on the sizing. Of course, the larger ones are going to be more money. You can buy a basic kit. I think it's like a 1/2 inch, 3/4, and I think 1 inch for like $90, usually around there, online. These I'm going to be doing are 1 1/4 inch, which you'll see in a minute here. But anyhow, this isn't the final fit, so it's a little loose. But I just got the bends in. I started to do this, sanded this down a little bit, and then I started to lay out my marks. This one is just raw, the aluminum, and then I laid out the marks just to kind of compare to see how I wanted it. I guess I'm just gonna have to leave this area. I don't want to continue. I think it would look kind of weird, like 2 more here and then nothing here. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a little plate or something there down the road, who knows. But anyhow, not bad. It's looking pretty good. Like I said, it's not totally finished yet. I'm still got to trim it a little bit more, and I got this little cutout here so the cable has room to pass through, and it's not pushing on this outwards. So like I said, this will all be set up with a plate. This will be nice and trimmed straight, and then it'll have some fasteners to hold it together. I just wanted to do that because I think if I don't, with this thickness of metal, it'll be kind of floppy. I guess I could also put a plate underneath here off the thing and just have it rest on it, but I think it'll look nice with the little button head fasteners. It'll kind of match the my little exhaust strut heat shield here. It's got little fasteners. I didn't do rivets because this is actually fiberglass, and it's hard to fiberglass, rivet fiberglass. A lot of times it'll just pull through. It'll end up cracking the fiberglass. So these are actually little stainless button head screws, and it's got a little washer and a lock nut on the back side of it. So this is made out of basically the same metal, and then I just brushed it. And yeah, so I mean, that was a simple little project. Took me maybe an hour, if that, to make. Same thing, cardboard template, and then just kind of marked out my holes and drilled some holes in it and drilled some holes in the bed, and there you go. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna cut the camera off here and gonna continue on. Next shot, I'll be showing you how to do the dimple die over on the press. And first, you gotta drill out these holes with a hole saw, and then you'll do the dimple die on the press. All right, as you can see, I've got the first piece there on the bench. I got it into a whole piece of 2x4. That way, when you go through the hole saw, you don't drill into your tabletop, your workbench. Next thing you want to do is kind of measure out, find your center. You're gonna need one of these if you're doing any kind of drilling or in the metal. It's always a good idea to have this little center punch. That way, when you hit it, you pop it. It'll give you a nice little dimple in the metal, so start your drill. And then you're going to want to do a little pilot hole, and then you'll follow up with the hole saw. Now when you do the hole saw, go very slow when you're going into the metal, and you might want to put a little WD-40 or some kind of little lubricant on it, just so it goes to the metal, because you don't want it to grab the metal, because then it'll twist it and tear up the hole, and it'll just look like crap, and then you'll have to do it all over again. So this is the point where you got to really measure everything out and go very slow. Have patience, because this will either make or break the project. You'll either have to do it over, or it won't look so good. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and center punch that, do my pilot hole, and then go ahead and start putting the holes in this to go ahead and do the dimple die. Next scene, you should see the holes drilled out, and then I'll be going over to the press to go ahead and put the dimple die for the final effect. One helpful little tip, when you are drilling into metal, especially a sheet metal like this or any kind of metal that can spin around on you, I know you think, oh, I can hold it with my hand. Don't do that. Get a C-clamp, get a little piece of wood. In this case, I used a little piece of old paint stick. Maybe use 2 or 3 of them, clamp it in 2 different spots. This way you won't take the foot of the clamp and then dent up your metal. This will it'll soften the blow, the pressure. Because if this thing spins around, this is pretty sharp. It'll be like a giant razor blade, and it will rip your hand open. I've seen it happen to people, so just as a little safety precaution. Also, maybe wear some gloves. I'm not taking my own advice, I'm not wearing gloves, but anyhow, just make sure that this lock is locked down and it's not going to go anywhere. And then again, like I said, just go real slow. Take your time with it. Maybe spray some WD on it. That's what I've been doing to help cut this, so it keeps the teeth on the saw cooler and the metal cooler, and it won't tear into it. You want a nice, you can see a nice smooth cut. And I haven't sanded it or anything. I just drilled those. So as you can see, it's not sharp. It's not cutting me. It's because I went slow with it, and I used something to cool the teeth down and lubricate it. So just a little tip I thought I should include in that to make sure you keep this thing from spinning around on you, because it will hurt you. Okay, as you can see, I got my holes drilled in it. Next step's going to be, move this aside here. I'm trying to do this with film with one hand and work with the other, so it's, give me a break. Don't be too hard on me here. This is your dimple die. You can see there's the little relief in it. Okay, so what you're going to want to do now is move this out of the way. Put that like that. And you want to set that up. Like I said, this is going to be a little difficult. There we go. Okay. As you can see, you got a little bit of a gap there. That's where the bevel is. The edge. It's going to make the actual dimple in it. So I'm going to go ahead and take that over to your press. Now, if you don't have a press, I can imagine you could probably do this in a vise. You'd probably have to make your your jaws and your vise, you have to get a long piece of angle iron or something to make them so that they'll be able to cover, you know, most of this, get even pressure. I've never done it that way, but I can see why you couldn't do it that way. You may have to research maybe online, see some other guys that don't have one of these presses, how they would do it. Where maybe you can take it to a shop and have them just do that for you for a few bucks. I know if somebody came by my shop and asked me to do it, I said, yeah, sure. I'd knock it out for them real quick for, you know, just a little bit of money for my time. But anyhow, then the next thing you want to do is go ahead and center that up pretty good, and just basically just like you're jacking a car up. Push it. It's pretty much there. That's it. Push down. It's it. Okay. Then release. And that step. So you take it out. So you guys can see it. And so this can help you. One hand holding the but there you go. You got a dimple die. And then you do the next one. Same process for the remaining 2 holes, and then I'm gonna sand this down, and I still gotta, you know, clean up the edges around here a little bit more, but I just want to do a little video, kind of show you guys the process of maybe making some kind of little trim plate that you know for your car, whether it's on a core support or somewhere else. But this is kind of just how I design a panel, using, you know, cardboard as your templates, and then leading up the process of how to bend it. I use mostly 10 snips, a different assortment of 10 snips to get my cuts. I also did use a air nibbler. You could use a body saw, just gotta be careful with it, because this thin stuff with a body saw, sometimes it'll kind of, especially like areas like this where it's real, you know, floppy already to begin with. But 10 snips worked well, and then I went back and sanded it with a little air drum sander, and then just some hand sand paper, and some rasp files. There's many different ways, I should say, to trim down the metal or finalize your you know, your edges. Some are faster than others. Of course, air tools will be faster than doing it by hand, but they'll all work, and they will complete the job. As you can see, didn't take too much to make something that's unique and one of a kind, handmade piece. So that's really all there is to it. Get yourself some cardboard and some metal, a few little hand tools, buy yourself some dimple dies and a hole saw set, and just go at it and see what you can create. You can make some really neat stuff. Alright guys, I'll probably show a little clip at the end of the final product with the panels together. I don't have the fasteners today, so I'll just line them up on the core support and the grill shell, kind of show you what it'll look like, and then that'll be it. I'll get the I'll go shopping for some hardware probably tomorrow on my way into the shop. But, all right, next shot you'll see will be kind of a somewhat finished product. Another little trick I like to do. This was a screw up dimple die I did, but I keep it around. Just to kind of, when I lay them out, and I kind of made it like a little square, so I can fit it and kind of like, okay, I want one there, and then mark the square part, and then go one there, and so on, and then do your straight line and then measure it out, and then do your straight line in the middle, and then, you know, you can kind of, that'll help you get them straight and evenly spaced, and then you'll be able to do your, you know, your center punch, so you'll get your holes evenly spaced. Kind of just a little trick I use. There's different ways of doing it, but this one little way I like, you can put it that way, or you can have, you know, if you want to make it more spaced apart, you can kind of draw a straight line and then just use end to end, you know what I mean? Just lay them out like that, diamond wise, so it's a little wider there than, say, like that. You know, this will be, obviously, one will be there and then one there, versus one will be there and then one will be way over here. So anyhow, I just thought I'd mention that little tip. You can go ahead and just make one of these and then cut it out, and then you just keep it around with your tools, and then when you want to make something, you just throw it out, and it'll save you from having to measure it all out. It'll save a little bit of time. There you can see
the outcome of all the work I've done. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm showing I did use the button head screws. I just finished installing everything. Still need to finish cleaning up fingerprints, everything on the metal. But anyhow, you get see the finished product. The dimple dye themselves aren't only just for appearance and cosmetic and for looks. They actually do serve a purpose, which is what they originally were designed for, was to take a light piece of metal and make it lighter, and with those dimples in it, make it actually, they add strength and rigidity to it. I'm pointing out there that I ended up putting a bead roll in the metal there because it was a little flimsy and weak. So adding that little bead roll actually strengthened it and made it stronger, as do the dimple dies. This is actually a fairly easy project. You don't need a lot of specialty tools besides a dimple die itself, and a bench vise will help, of course, to be able to complete this project. 10 snips, some sandpaper, some files, nothing really too expensive, and basically the possibilities of being, fabricating these kind of panels or using this are endless. You can use it all over a vehicle. I'm going to show you another little project I had done pretty recently, since I started doing that one. I made a little filler panel on my 90 CRX SI. I got rid of the T bracket where the original hood latch was, where the hood lock was, and since I have hood pens, I decided to go ahead and put a little filler panel there. And I'm just gonna show you a little bit uh, what the outcome of that project was. I got a nice roll on the end of that simply by using the sheet metal brake to start it off, and then I used a piece of steel round bar, ran it through there, and then just used some body hammers and lightly worked the metal so it had a nice fold over. I'm kind of trying to show you guys there. It's kind of hard to see, but how it wraps around the headlight baffles there, so it has a nice finished smooth edge on the top. Unfortunately, now my radiator stay for my half size radiator is I had to kind of flatten it out. It doesn't look so good, so I'm gonna have to make something for that. But anyhow, just another little idea for a project. As I mentioned, that the it's kind of endless, the amount of things you could use the dimple dies and things like that in your projects. It's all up to your imagination, and buy yourself some dimple dies, some 10 snips, and bend up some sheet metal, and have fun with it. Also going to show another little project I did on this truck that I remember as I was about to finish this video, but I'll show you here. It's kind of hard to see with those lights there. This truck was originally a Choo Choo Custom truck, which was a company back in the 80s that would buy the trucks from GM, or I should say Chevy, and then they'd modify them and then sell them to the dealerships. But anyhow, it was just a plastic panel. They added that wood grain at Choo Choo Customs, and they just left that part open for the vents. And I decided to add a little bit of dimple dye with that aluminum piece in there, just to add a little extra touch to it, and we cut the trigger off. There you go. And get some light here in a second. There you go. And you'll see there's some carpet there. I'm going to end up putting a piece of aluminum in that opening there, that little recess, and I'm going to put probably 3 bead rolls in there just to add a little extra touch to that, and a little more customization in that. Anyhow, I'm going to end the video here. As always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from this channel, please subscribe. Any comments, leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys in the next one.